Hi, Stephanie. It is so great to see you. Always a pleasure. So welcome to the podcast.
Thank you so much. It is an incredible honor to be here. I've been listening to your podcast from the beginning, and I get so much value out of every episode. So to actually be a guest on here is just, it makes my heart very happy.
Oh, thank you. You're starting it out so nice. So I love to jump right in and, start the episode with all my guests in the same question. So it's called the Rapid Fire 5. And these are 5 questions just for my audience to get to know you a little bit better. So how does that sound?
Exciting, a little bit nerve-wracking, but exciting. Let's do it.
I'll make it easy-ish. So the first few will be easy, and then we'll have to think a little, but it's all good.
No worries.
So where did you grow up?
I grew up in Johannesburg, South Africa for my younger years, and then I moved to a nearby town in Pretoria. And that's where I grew up for most of my young and teenage and early 20 years while I was in South Africa before I moved to the US in my mid-20s. But childhood, everything was spent in Joburg in South Africa.
Beautiful. And I normally ask this question to everyone else, where do you live now? But I know that you're in the kind of interim of different places, but whatever you want to say. So where do you live now?
So I feel very, very blessed to be able to call many places home at the moment. There isn't one single place that I look at and crave and remember as my home, but I do feel like Fort Lauderdale in South Florida is definitely a home. Currently, where my family lives in South Africa, it's in the Cape, the Western Cape, so beautiful. That is definitely a home for me. And then I spent many years living in Bahamas, and that has become a home away from home as well. You develop community, you find your church, you have your local gym, all that sort of important stuff to make things feel like home. I'm blessed to have in a few places.
That sounds so beautiful. Who wouldn't want to live in the Bahamas and it's beautiful tropical places? I mean, that is our dream. You're living the dream, girl.
It definitely has been an incredible experience, and we all do want that tropical island life. But the one thing that I learned fast and hard that we get to remember is that as fantastic as island life can be, it also comes with its many, many, many challenges that we don't see when we're watching people sip cocktails on a beach on TV.
True. Very true. Well, next question, maybe a little harder, but who are your 2 top mentors?
Oh my goodness. I think I have about 10, but one of my top mentors that comes to mind straight away would be Dr. Mark Hyman. Mm-hmm. I am fascinated by him. I love everything that he does, the work he's done to get the message of functional medicine out there, and his constant research on not just the human body and health, but our food system and everything he's doing to make this world a better place is inspiring to me. And he's a go-to for many of my, just what I do in my business is largely built on what he does. Secondly, it's nobody famous, but I must say my mother is a huge mentor for me. She is the most phenomenal woman who not only professionally, but personally has just done amazing things in her life. And she's so capable, and she inspires me every single day. And she's definitely a mentor for me. She's got a generous heart, a brilliant mind. And I feel very blessed that she is my mom.
That is beautiful. And, both of them, well, obviously Dr. Hyman, is also one of my top mentors too. And I can see it in your work too, your agriculture, regenerative agriculture post that you just did. He talks a lot about that. So I can definitely see it in your work, and he is a wealth of knowledge. And yeah, your mom, that is beautiful. I mean, having your mom as a mentor is always a strong, makes you even stronger, right? Makes you even a better person. So that's beautiful.
Thank
awesome.
you.
Yeah. So next question is, what are you most passionate about?
Wow. I am most passionate about what I am doing right now. And that is a beautiful thing because I get to live my passion every single day. And that is to learn more about the human body and teach others about their body. I feel like our body is God's greatest creation, and I get to honor him through teaching people how to look after his greatest creation, and that is us. And that is my passion. It has been for many years, and now I'm blessed to actually have this as my career. So that is my top passion. And I would say the other one, it's going to sound maybe a little bit funny or cliche, but it's really just living life as fully as I can every single day in terms of the people I spend my time with, the experiences I have, and just what I fill my day with. I want every day to be a beautiful day and an exciting day. And that is a passion of mine, to make sure every day I'm living as best as I can.
Great. Absolutely love that answer. Absolutely. And last question is, what is your superpower?
Oh my goodness, that's the hardest question of them all.
I'm sure you have a couple I think I can draw out of you, but go ahead.
I don't even know, to be honest. I will have to think about that one. My superpower, I guess, would be something along the lines of being a very compassionate and approachable person. I am told very frequently from friends as well as people that I've just met, acquaintances, that they feel very at ease to speak to me about things that they don't tell anybody. They all of a sudden start blurting out a story of what's going on, and they'll say, I don't know why I just told you that. I've never told anybody that, or I don't speak about that. So I guess one of my superpowers would be just making people feel safe and comfortable and being approachable.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to say. I was going to say connection. You kind of have that aura of, like you said, bringing people in, right? And that's the beauty of why you're doing what you're doing as well as a health coach. That's the quality, and that's the superpower that we need, is to be that trusting person for your clients. Awesome. Well, thank you for answering those questions, first of all. Now I kind of want to dig in a little bit deeper. I know we dug in some, but a little deeper. I want to, I'm curious, like, what is your story? What is your background? And then why health coaching?
Sure. I would love to dig into that. So I never used to be a health and wellness enthusiast. And my journey actually started many, many years ago at the age of 6, when I had contracted, or I was bitten by a tick, and I got tick bite fever, which is also known as a certain form of Lyme disease. And I'd been on treatment for 4 weeks. And after 4 weeks, I was better. Doctor said I was fine. I can carry on. However, every year, around the time that I was bitten, my symptoms will come back, but in the less and less severe every year. And eventually, after 4 to 6 years, it will go away completely. So I accepted that. I mean, I was a child and my family didn't know any better. We understood the body very differently back then. But unbeknownst to me, that virus had lived in my body for 20 years. And I suffered very much when I was in my early 20s. I gained a lot of weight. I was extremely overweight. I had terrible acne that was embarrassing. No matter what I did, it would never go away. I had abdominal pain, which was probably the worst. And it started out as a bit of bloating, a little bit of pain here and there, a little bit of gas. And then the symptoms just started to escalate, and slowly over time, but eventually it got to 1 year when I was about 24, where the symptoms just every single day I was waking up with something else. And I got to the point where even drinking water was painful. So that's when I had eventually found functional medicine, because up until that point, every doctor I had gone to was putting me on antibiotics and telling me I had food poisoning or I need to check my stress levels. And I don't know about you, but I don't know of any food poisoning necessarily that lasts for about 5 years.
Oh,
so
that's crazy.
It was insane. So eventually I found functional medicine, and I went to see this doctor, and that's when he picked up the presence of Lyme disease. And he had picked up some genetic predispositions. He saw I had these food sensitivities or intolerances, a whole host of things: liver dysfunction, kidney dysfunction, adrenal dysfunction. And that was the answer to all my problems that I had been looking for the longest time. So when I found that, I dived so much deeper into health and wellness, and I decided to become the master of my own body. Medicine up until that point had not helped me until I found functional medicine. So I decided I'm not allowing anybody to take care of my health anymore. I'm going to do it myself. And that's what got me into functional medicine, nutrition, and through this time, my symptoms, through working with this doctor, within 3 months of actually working on my gut, getting on the right supplementation, changing my diet, within 3 months, the symptoms I'd been dealing with for 10 years had decreased by about 80%, which was amazing. But there was still a bit of work to do. And what had happened is he had told me, you're intolerant to gluten. But as much as I changed my diet, I didn't get off gluten completely, because I thought, oh, well, it's going to cause a bit of abdominal pain, a bit of bloating. I can handle that. The balance or the payoff wasn't that bad. I'll eat this pizza. I'll deal with the bloating tomorrow. Mm-hmm. But what had happened is, after my symptoms got worse again, I went to a different doctor when I was in the US, and she was amazing. Absolutely love my doctor, but she put me onto like a 21-day purification. This is how I got into coaching. Mm-hmm. Put me on a 21-day purification. Amazing program, but coming from somebody who lived a version of the standard American diet to going onto a plan that you had to eat fruits and vegetables for 21 days, no nuts, no seeds, no meat, no grains. It was challenging. It was so challenging. And I sat with my doctor. She didn't explain what we were doing. She just said, here's the plan. It's going to make you feel better. We'll fix your body. Come see me in 21 to 28 days. And I tried this plan about 2 or 3 times because I could never get past day 14. Sometimes I'd stop on day 10, day 14. It's a difficult plan to transition into, and there was so much negative self-talk that went on. I don't have the willpower. I can't do this. Why am I even trying? I obviously don't love myself enough. I could just never stay with it. And I so wish that I had a coach during that time. It would have saved me so much time, so much money, so much frustration. Because the research that I eventually started to do and to learn was how that gluten that was affecting me, it wasn't just giving me pain, but I understood eventually how it was leading me closer to dementia and all the other host of things. And then the scale shifted, the risk became I don't even know how to say it right now, but the risk became a lot higher. Mm-hmm. And then it was no longer worth it for me to eat that slice of pizza, because it wasn't just bloating, it was dementia, if I could say, in extremes. But I needed somebody, I wish I had somebody to explain why I was making the changes I was making, what was going on in my body, and to actually support me when I wasn't feeling like I could carry on. Mm-hmm. So when I decided to go back to school, I was initially going to study to be a functional medicine doctor. But I thought, there's amazing doctors out there. I had a fantastic functional medicine doctor. What was missing in my journey, which was ultimately a 15-year journey, was coaching. It wasn't a doctor. And I wanted to fill that gap for other people so they didn't have to suffer and go through this whole journey alone the same way that I did for so many years.
Amazing. Absolutely amazing. And I have so many questions from that. How did it feel to understand and realize that it's not just you and it can be fixed? How did that feel for you?
Oh my gosh, freeing. I literally get like goosebumps when you ask me that question now. I felt like my heart expanded and all this weight was taken off of my shoulders. The hope that you get in knowing that the healing is possible, in knowing that you have somebody who is committed to helping you to get there every step of the way, that you are never alone in it. It's a relief. Your heart expands with gratitude, and this weight, this extra stress that is doing nothing but increasing the magnitude of your condition, it's lifted, and all of a sudden a world of possibility opens up for you.
Yeah. Yeah. So much, it's unfortunate that you have to go through so long, to get to that point. Right. But sometimes that is the journey. Sometimes that is that is your story. And I love that you understood on, you went to this doctor, you got this protocol, great. Now what? Now what? Like, okay, I'm going to do this, but that behavior change is not an overnight change.
No.
So there has to be that person, that accountability. And not to say that doctors, they're awesome, they're amazing at what they do, right? But it's that secondary person that will take you along on that journey and to get you, to understand why, like you said, why you're on it, but also what's happening in that journey. And it's really about you and your life and, why you're doing this. Not only that's obviously the key, but it's also those little bumps along the way. You can't call your functional medicine doctor every, 2 days because you're feeling like crap, or you're, all of a sudden, life happens and whatever. And I guess I can't do this. They're not going to get in your mind, health coaches. So I'm so happy that you took it upon yourself to realize that, and that you are doing an awesome job on it. So kudos.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that. And I am a huge, huge advocate for a collaborative care team, for anybody who is dealing with any kind of chronic or autoimmune disease or any sort of digestive issues, whatever it is for you, but really getting a collaborative care team together in terms of a functional clinician, the coach, and then the client.
Right.
At the intersection where those three meet, that is where the best sort of healing happens. And that is where magic happens. Nobody knows themselves like you do. You know yourself better than anybody else. And with the knowledge and expertise of the clinician, and then the accountability and support of a coach, there's nowhere but up to go.
Right. Right. It's teamwork makes the dream work, right? That's what it is. It's, we're all here for the, for one thing. We're all here to get you better. And you want that more than anything. We want that more than anything. The practitioner wants that more than anything. So let's work together on doing that. So kudos. So let's shift gears a little bit. You mentioned, digestion and, gut health. So we talk a lot, or I do have experts on here as well talking about gut health. So it is truly, truly important to understand gut health. But I want you, if you can, to kind of dig in a little bit deeper, like maybe a deep dive into why is gut health so important?
I would love to. You asked me about my passion earlier. This is definitely one of them, is gut health. And for good reason, because gut health truly is the foundation of overall health. It's the foundation of health in general. And Hippocrates once said that all disease begins in the gut, and I couldn't agree more. But that is exactly why all healing can take place there too. All treatment gets to start there too. But the reason why gut health is so important is because we have 7 core physiological systems in the body that help us to run, that keep us healthy. And gut health is central to every single one of them. But it directly impacts 4 of the systems. One would obviously be your digestion, which is made up of assimilation and elimination, meaning that it's not so much what we eat, but it's what we absorb that really matters. So your gut health will affect how the nutrients that you absorb, as well as if you are eliminating waste efficiently. If you have excess food or toxins that lay in your colon, you are going to get a bacterial overgrowth. It's going to start fermenting and producing gases. It's going to lead to gas and bloating and candida and SIBO and all these kind of things. So you want to make sure that you are absorbing your nutrients and you're eliminating them. So digestion, obviously, with the gut is very important. Then you have your immune system that's connected to the gut, because 70 to 80% of our immune system actually lives in the gut. So when we have a weak and damaged digestive system, it is going to influence the regulation and often lead to dysregulation of the immune system. And when we have a dysregulated immune system and chronic inflammation, that is what leads to disease, whether it be chronic and most often autoimmune disease. It is also directly linked to our hormonal system, our endocrine system, or what's known as the cellular communication system. And this is because, excuse me, the thyroid and the gut are very closely linked. The gut sends messages to the thyroid sends messages to the gut. It's very bidirectional. And when we talk about hormones, we can also talk about the production of many hormones that are made in the gut. And what a lot of people are surprised to learn is that serotonin, a neurotransmitter, is actually produced in the gut. 70% of serotonin is produced in the gut, which is crazy. We, for years, people thought it was produced in the brain, and serotonin is the happy hormone. Mm-hmm. So, that sort of brings me into how the gut and the brain are connected as well. Your neurological system are directly connected. Like I say, the happy hormone is produced in the gut. If you are battling with anxiety and depression and all this sort of thing, look into your gut to see what is obstructing the production of the serotonin. The other way that it's connected is that we have something that's very common these days is called leaky gut syndrome. When our colon, our gut lining becomes permeable and toxins and food particles and everything escape into the bloodstream, which obviously will affect the immune system. But the interesting thing is when we get this leaky gut, this permeability in our colon, the same thing starts to happen in the brain, except there we call it the blood-brain barrier. And toxins and food and everything leak out from the bloodstream into our brain tissue. And that will obviously cause a lot of imbalances, a lot of problems, whether it's anxiety, depression, mood swings, whatever it is, brain fog. It's because we have all this nonsense that has now escaped from our bloodstream into our brain. So that's just some of the brief ways. I could get so deep into this, but that is some of the ways that our gut affects every area of every other body system that we have. And detoxification, I didn't mention that, I'm sorry. It affects our liver and our detoxification system. When we have an imbalanced gut, we produce extra toxins inside. And as well as how I said it, they often leak through into the bloodstream, and that affects our liver. The more toxins that are in our body, the harder our liver needs to work to get rid of them. And when our liver can't work, when our liver is backed up, we store a lot of toxins in our tissues, in our joints, our tissue, and our fat cells. So gut health truly is central to overall health.
Yeah. And who would have thought, right? That little gut does so much in our system. I mean, it is connected like crazy. It's funny because, somebody would say, I have a headache. Well, check your gut. I have, arthritis. Well, check your gut. I have, bloating. Check your gut. I have thyroid issues. Check your gut. It's like, it all leads to that one point, at least to start looking at the root cause, right? So it is just amazing how much it is intricately just embodied in our system and how it controls our health. So it is definitely very, very, very important to understand and to talk to doctors and health coaches about their gut and what's going on, because we need more tests, we need more conversations and questions on your food, on your stress, on your again, your lifestyle, your sleep, your everything can impact that gut area. So that is amazing.
Definitely. And that's why it's I love it when my clients are working with functional medicine practitioners and not just your regular sort of GP, because they ask these questions. They look at your diet, they look at your lifestyle, look at your stress levels, your environment, everything, and they try to get a clear picture of what's actually happening in your gut in order to help you with other conditions. And it's not just asking, what are your parents and your grandparents, what conditions did they have? But we look at that, but that's not the begin all and end all of why you are dealing with what you're dealing with right now. Mm-hmm. We get to look deeper into your gut, your lifestyle, your environment, all those sort of things to get the real answers of what's happening.
Yeah, exactly that. Functional medicine doctors or integrative will ask questions about that and get more specific tests. Like I know when I went for my thyroid test, and it did, story short, but I did have digestive issues. Mm-hmm. I still take digestive enzymes. Because I have a hard time digesting, and it's not just the digesting. You said it perfectly. It's not what you eat, it's how you eat it and how you ingest or how you digest it. Because I thought I was getting all the nutrients in the world because I'm so healthy, I'm getting all of this, but it was because of a thyroid issue that kind of made it, you said it, the conversation between the thyroid and gut was broken. Mm-hmm. So that communication was broken. And so even though I thought I was getting healthy or eating healthy, mm-hmm. I was not digesting the proper essential nutrients, which then led to a depletion of vitamin B, mm-hmm. Nutrients and all of that, and a whole sort of thing. So it is amazing. And again, I can't stress it enough how your gut plays a huge role in every aspect of your body. So I'm grateful that you're, talking about it more and having people realize this more.
It is always the number one place that I start looking at and working with my clients, whether they are coming to me with high blood pressure or Hashimoto's or acid reflux, whatever it is, joint pain. Mm-hmm. The number one thing we look at is their gut. And with doing that, without focusing on all your other body systems and organs, but just looking at the gut, the way that their symptoms improve in as little as 10 days up to 3 weeks, it is incredible.
That's insane. Mm-hmm. So you touched on leaky gut, right? Can you tell us, and it's interesting, kind of a little caveat, when you talk about that from our school, I remember that that webinar with the video of how your gut is literally like an army, and it's a wall, and if anything gets through it, if you have a healthy gut, if anything gets through it, it kind of bounces off. Yeah. But then as soon as you get, those, like a little room in between, the little, I don't know the exact word for it, but just the little room in between. That regular
layer.
Exactly. And that, obviously the particles and the toxins can get in there, and that's what causes a leaky gut. So I'm a visual person. So when you were talking about it, I was just like, oh yeah. So we talked about leaky gut, obviously what causes it and how can we, treat it basically?
Of course. So leaky gut has become very common in our society, and it is because, all right, let me just explain leaky gut. What it is first is that we have, I did briefly mention it, but like you were saying, we've got a very thin layer in our colon. It's one cell layer thick, and that's the only barrier between our gut, our food, our toxins, everything, bacteria that's in our gut, and our bloodstream. The rest of our body. It's one cell layer thick, and this is really, really, really tightly packed together. The only thing that can get through is food and nutrients and everything that our body needs. But with certain foods that we are eating, high inflammatory foods, this starts to cause our gut, this lining, to open up and become permeable. And when this happens, bigger particles of food and toxins and bacteria leak, obviously, from our gut into our body. And that's what sets our immune system on alert. Those soldiers, now they want to go to war. Now there's an enemy that's come in, and they are on high alert to attack these invaders. Now what happens is, obviously with inflammation, our immune system can regulate it, increase inflammation when there's an invader, and then decrease it and calm down when the threat is gone. But because we have this leaky gut 3-4 times a day, 5 times a day, however many times you are having meals, particles are continuously escaping into our immune system, into our bloodstream. So the immune system is always on high alert. There's always these soldiers fighting a war inside of us, and they're not getting a chance to calm down. And that is what's causing chronic and systemic inflammation. And when your immune system is overworked and you have all this inflammation, it doesn't get a chance to rest, and it loses its ability to regulate itself, to flip the switch on and off, to increase and decrease inflammation. It becomes just constant and chronic. So with that, it is food that is making this happen. First of all, the foods that irritate our system. So things like gluten, dairy. For some people who already have a weakened digestive system, even grains can do it. But your high inflammatory foods, refined sugar, alcohol, oils, really bad oils, your sunflower oil, your canola oils, all those sort of things also contribute to leaky gut. The other thing is over-the-counter medications, even prescription medications, damage our gut lining tremendously. I mentioned alcohol. Stress is a huge one that can contribute to leaky gut. And lastly, something called dysbiosis is also contributes to leaky gut. Now, dysbiosis, it's kind of like a vicious cycle, because even through our food, the medications, all this sort of thing can cause a very common gut condition called gut dysbiosis. And when you have that, it increases your leaky gut. And having leaky gut affects your level of dysbiosis. So again, it's very bidirectional. And what dysbiosis is that we have all this bacteria in our gut, trillions and trillions and trillions of bacteria. But we want to have more good bacteria, because not all bacteria is bad. So we want to have more good bacteria than we do bad. And when there's that nice ratio, we are healthy. But through the food we are eating, alcohol, stress, medications, all these things that I mentioned, the good bugs are starving and they are dying off, and the bad bugs are growing and growing and growing. And that is what is making us very sick. That can lead to joint pain, just a whole host of things, because it's going to affect now our immune system as well. So I can go on, but all the symptoms I mentioned are symptoms of dysbiosis as well. All the most common gut conditions, the symptoms are very, very, very similar. And you could have one of the 4 conditions, or you could have all 4. And most of the time you are having some level of 3 to 4 of those disruptions in the gut. It's not commonly just one. So yes, we want to keep that. I was thinking about losing my train of thought there, but we want to keep the balance in check, enough good bacteria, and keep the bad bacteria low. And the problem is the good bacteria feed off of fiber, which we find in fruits and vegetables, and the bad bacteria feed off of sugar. And if you look at our common diet right now, it's very lacking in, very low in fiber, whole food fiber, and it's high in refined sugars. You've got all your packaged food, even your starchy vegetables. A lot of people eat potato chips. That's feeding the bad bacteria. Your alcohol's feeding the bad bacteria. Caffeine, bad bacteria. How many things are we putting in our body every day that's going straight to the bad bacteria, and not much is feeding the good? And when we have that imbalance, it also affects our cravings very much. If you are someone who has a lot of sugar cravings, it's a good sign that there's dysbiosis, because all these bugs in your system are screaming at you for what they want, and they want sugar. Hence the craving.
Usually they get it, and it's unfortunate, that it's like it's like a vicious cycle. It's interesting. I don't want to cut you off, because I did ask, how can you treat it? But I just kind of want to throw something out there. So we're talking about, all of the, the gut dysbiosis, and it's just so interesting, especially for the immune system, right? I kind of bring this up because it is obviously out there in the world right now that there is a virus going on, and our, everything else, it's basically like external, like our bodies are rejecting. It's almost as if people think that our bodies are rejecting certain things, and our bodies is doing this, to us, right? Mm-hmm. But it's really our choices that dictate why our bodies are fighting these bugs and why are they, obviously losing and getting sick, right?
Yeah.
So it is our choices, not that our bodies are made to, be weak and not fight off certain things. We have a choice of what we put in our bodies, on our skin, on our, everything, what, like, toxic wise. It is our choice. So I just want to kind of preface that, just because I know that it's a huge issue right now, seeing as though, everybody is saying, well, I can't, my immune system is compromised, this and that. Well, you have a choice to fix it. And now that kind of leads me into, how do we fix it? So what are your suggestions?
I'm so glad you mentioned that, because often people say my body is failing me. Mm-hmm. But unfortunately, in reality, we are actually failing our body. And for a lot of people, like you were talking about now, the toxins, the food we're eating, all the rest, yes, we are a little bit more conscious of the food we're eating, but a lot of the time, like, it's not your fault. You don't always know the amount of toxicity that you are taking in every day. And a lot of people will think they are eating healthy food because you've got all this packaged stuff labeled as healthy granola, healthy peanut butter, healthy this, healthy that. But it's nonsense. Healthy microwave meals. So they think they are doing the right thing, but that's why it's so important to work with a coach, work with a nutritionist, work with somebody who can guide you down the right path, because your media and your marketing is not going to do that, unfortunately. So how we heal leaky gut and gut dysbiosis, all these kind of conditions. The good news is that the starting point is relatively the same. And what you would do is, obviously, where you would start, should I say, I like to run through the 5R protocol. And the first one is to remove trigger foods, remove foods that are irritating the gut. Even if you don't have an intolerance, if you have leaky gut, you are going to be a lot more sensitive to many, many, many foods. So remove your highest triggers, your gluten, your dairy, your sugar, your alcohol, your caffeine. And it's just temporary. You just want to do this temporary while we start to heal. But just as important as removing is replacing, because we can take away the triggers, but that is not a healing method. That's just removing the irritation. Now you need to put something back in. Removing is like a prerequisite to healing. But now we need to put the building blocks back in to help your body heal. We need to give it the tools. And those tools are found in brightly colored fruits and vegetables, in something that is called phytonutrients. It's what gives the plant their color. Can also be seen as the plant's immune system, because it protects the plants from bacteria, from bugs, from the wind, from disease, all these sort of things. And the really cool thing is that when we eat phytonutrients, we get those same protective benefits. So you want to be eating a variety of fruits and vegetables. They also feed the good bacteria in your gut, as I said. And we want to be feeding them to get them good and strong, because the more good bacteria we have, they keep the bad bacteria in check. So we want to make sure we're providing them with their food. And the more you start to do this, just as the bad guys crave sugar and asking you, screaming at you for sugar, the good guys are going to be screaming at you for fiber. And I promise you now, it is very possible to crave spinach and broccoli and all those good things. I'm at the point where I know, me too. I can sit with a bag of spinach and eat it like a bag of chips. I absolutely love it. But I can tell you, 10 years ago, that was definitely not the case. I wanted pizza and cheesecake every day. Yeah. So it is definitely possible. So we want to remove, we want to replace, we want to re-inoculate. Because like I said, there's such an imbalance now in the bacteria. You want to make sure you are putting back all that good bacteria that we need. So you want to take things like a probiotic supplement. And I just want to say now, any kind of supplementation that I mentioned, this will differ for everybody. So before you get onto any supplement regime, always consult with your healthcare provider. This is just general information.
This is knowledge. It's all knowledge.
There we go. Yeah. But taking a really good quality probiotic is a fantastic idea. And just through our daily life, the air we're breathing, the water we're drinking, there are toxins that come in that destroy parts of the bacteria. Every single day we're losing bacteria. They have a lifespan just as we do. So regardless, you could have the healthiest diet in the world, but because of all the toxicity and just our stress levels, we should be taking a daily or every second day a probiotic to repopulate. Fourthly, you want to repair. Now, once you've taken all these things out, you can never start with repair because that is supplementation, and supplements are there to supplement your diet and lifestyle, but it's not a healing solution on its own. So once you have the first 3 steps in place, you look at repairing the digestive system, the gut lining. And that is done through certain kinds of supplements, like L-glutamine is amazing to repair the gut. Slippery elm, another amazing one that creates a protective barrier and allows the body, the digestive lining, to heal. Vitamin A, vitamin C, and vitamin D are incredibly important to repair that gut lining. And one of my other favorite ones to repair the gut is zinc, incredibly powerful to repair that lining. So generally I will use a combination of those to repair the gut. And then fifthly is rebalance. You want to look at rebalancing your mind and rebalancing your lifestyle to make sure that now that we are creating a balance within the gut, within your bacteria, so leaky gut doesn't reappear. We want to make sure that your mind is healthy and rebalanced, and so is your environment, by getting rid of the toxins, or as much as you can, having a mindset of living a healthy, clean life, having some habits in place that is sustainable. Basically, number 5 is making sure that everything is in alignment that makes this sustainable for you going forward, so we can prevent leaky gut from returning, and being aware of the symptoms or the signs so we could catch it early if it ever did. That's basically how you would go about healing.
Can you list those again? I know, can you list those again?
Of course. So you would remove the trigger foods.
Okay.
You would replace with a variety of fruits and vegetables. Think about eating the rainbow. Mm-hmm. You would re-inoculate the gut with probiotics and prebiotics. You would repair the gut lining with a bunch of different supplements. Must I mention those again for you?
No, that's fine.
All right. And then number 5 is rebalance.
Perfect. I want to go back before I kind of move on, because it just popped in my head. So re-inoculate. I know that you said that probiotics and prebiotics, are they just in supplement form, or are there certain foods that we can also get, like probiotics and prebiotics? And if so, what are they?
Great question. I'm glad you mentioned it. So there are a lot of foods that we can find naturally high in probiotics, and that's fermented foods. Now, you can ferment anything you want, or most foods yourself at home, but the most common ones that we find are things like sauerkraut, kimchi, miso, kefir, even some Greek yogurt has a high amount of cultured probiotics. So those are your more common ones. I'm probably missing 1 or 2, but anything fermented is high in probiotics.
I think that's it. That's what that's all I'm thinking of now. Yeah.
Yeah. So your kimchi, your sauerkraut, your miso, some of the more common ones. And then your prebiotics. Prebiotics are just the fiber that I spoke about that we find in foods that's feeding the gut, because there's no point in taking all these supplements, but then we're not giving the probiotics, the prebiotic fiber to keep them strong. Right. So most foods have, fruits and vegetables have prebiotics in it, but some of the ones that are highest in prebiotics are artichokes, or Jerusalem artichokes, radishes, tomato, garlic, onion, super high in prebiotics. And you can jump onto Google, type in like highest prebiotic foods, and a list will come up, but you'll find it in a lot of your common fruits and vegetables and spices, which is, well, not spices, but like garlic, onion, those sort of things.
Yeah. Awesome. And I mean, also doing that elimination diet can also understand if you are susceptible, because I know garlic and certain like tomatoes and stuff, like certain people can't, digest them or take them really well. Yeah. So it's also really key to kind of do that elimination diet, or at least kind of remove that removal, right? That removal, and see what is affecting you. And if you can take, when you reintroduce, when you can take that tomato or, the garlic or whatnot, then that's a great, alternative to any supplement.
Definitely.
Awesome.
When we do talk about removing, though, it's not necessarily an elimination diet for everybody. Elimination diet is great, and I think everybody should do it at one stage or another to figure out your triggers. But having said that, I know a lot of people are not ready or willing to jump into a full elimination diet, or their lifestyle doesn't allow for it if they're traveling very much, or they're not cooking their own food, or whatever the case is. So when something like that happens, without going into a full elimination, as long as you eliminate the most common inflammatory foods, it will at least give your body a chance to start healing, to boost that healing.
Perfect. Thank you for the clarification. Yeah, I mean, don't all jump into elimination, because it is hard. And you're right, lifestyle sometimes cannot handle that diet for that time. So thank you for that clarification. So now I want to kind of go into, you have a summit coming up. I would love to know more about this summit.
Yes, I'm super excited about it. Over the last 3 months, I've been working at putting this together. So we have just launched we've just opened up registration, should I say, for the Healthy Living Blueprint virtual interview series, where we are looking at how to prevent, treat, and potentially reverse chronic and autoimmune disease naturally. So I am super excited about this event. I've teamed up with over 21 other experts in the functional, integrative, and holistic space to put this event together. We have one interview, one expert speaking every day for the month of July. And I'm just honored to have partnered up with all these people. We are talking about disease in general, from a functional standpoint compared to a conventional standpoint. And then we've also focused every day on individual conditions, whether it's PCOS, Hashimoto's, diabetes, rheumatoid arthritis, everything that you can think of, the most common conditions, and even a couple rare ones as seen as rare conditions. So I'm super excited to be launching that. It is in registration period now, and it goes live on July 5th.
Nice. Awesome. Yeah. So this will come out right before then. So where can people sign up? Like where is that at?
So people can go to www.unlimitedhealthyliving.com to sign up, or they could email me at info@vitaming.net, and I will send through a link for them. The entire event is free. And even though we start on July 5th, it does run throughout the entire month of July. So you can sign up at any point. With sign up, you also get a couple free gifts upon sign up. And then every day with the experts that are speaking, they've also offered different various free gifts to the audience, which is super cool. Just their free gifts alone is valued at over $5,000, and everybody who signs up gets it for free. So it's really cool. So there's a lot of value packed into the month of July. So sign up, email me, or go to www.unlimitedhealthyliving.com and get your hands on a ticket. You will not regret it.
Yes, no, you won't. And I will put everything in the show notes. So all everybody has to do is click and they're there, and it's easy. And yes, I mean, that is such a tremendous gift for you and your presenters to give anybody who signs up. So that's amazing. I am signing up. So I think I have already. But any case, this is awesome. I'm super excited for it. I think this is something that we all need to just understand a little bit more, right? We need to hear from the mouths of professionals, and not only that, just to understand a little bit more knowledge into everything that you guys are spearheading. So outside of the summit, where can people find you?
So people can reach me via email if they want to get hold of me at info@vitaming.net. Alternatively, they can find me on Instagram. My company is called Unlimited You Coaching. So at Unlimited You Coaching on Instagram, or if you want to visit my website, it's unlimitedYouCoaching.net.
Nice.
And jump on there. People are welcome to book a free discovery call with me if they wanted to. All the information's on my website as well as on my Instagram.
Do you have anything new coming up? Because I think I've seen something that you were putting together, and I don't know if I should be opening the door to this. So is there anything that you want to?
Not a problem. So yes, we are actually working on a new product launch at the moment. Is that what you're referring to? That you
yes.
So as I was talking about earlier, the importance of gut health with eating the rainbow, having a very high fiber diet, I am actually in the process of launching a new smoothie line, which is exciting. It's called U-Shakes. It's still going to be a couple months before it's fully launched, fully rolled out, should I say, but that is what's in the works, and I'm excited to launch it to everybody. It is pre-packed frozen smoothies that people can order on subscription, pull it out the freezer, chuck it in the blender, 2 minutes later, you've got your breakfast. So
that's beautiful.
Single smoothie designed to decrease inflammation, promote gut health, and detoxification. So super healthy, super delicious. And I'm excited to bring that to the public as well.
I'm excited for you, and just let me know when it is released. Well, I follow you, so I'll know. But I mean, this is awesome for my audience, because this is something that, I tend to speak to a lot of high achieving women who are, on the go all the time, who are not getting the proper nutrients, who are just, they're so busy. But there's no excuse when you have your smoothie, right? That's just sitting in the freezer, ready to be, drinking or drunk, whatever, drunk, I don't know, whatever. We're not drunk off of it, believe me. Maybe drunk off of feeling healthy, I don't know. But no, I mean, I think that's an awesome thing that's coming up for you, and I'm super excited. So yes, awesome. So before I get to the last question, because I can talk to you forever, and we have, so I won't bore I won't put my audience through another hour. They probably want to turn it off and get to whatever they're doing. But anyway, so before I get to that, I want to acknowledge you, Stephanie, because we went to school together, and I've said this many times, but I still mean it to this day, and will always mean it, that I am super, super proud of what you have become and who are you becoming, right? You're reaching to such a mass audience, but is so needed. And like I said, gut health is truly, truly something that we all need to understand a little bit more, and need to understand that we can take control of our own gut health. And you are there at the forefront, giving people the knowledge, helping people to understand this very important message. So I want to acknowledge you for your growth, for your just being out there in the world, and everybody follow her, because she has amazing things going on. So just want to acknowledge you for that. And the last question is, what is one quote, or your favorite quote, or any words of inspiration you want to leave us with?
Definitely. So I can't even tell you how grateful I am for your super kind words. I appreciate that more than you will ever know. And I'm very blessed and honored to have a chance to partner up with you in spreading that message. And I look forward to how we get to continue to do this in future.
Yes.
And as for my favorite quote, there's two that I really keep in mind every day, and I'll just share them briefly. The one is, comparison is the thief of joy. One of my all-time favorite quotes. This can go for our health journey, our relationships, our careers. Don't compare yourself to anybody. We are all on our own journey, and especially with social media, it becomes so easy to compare ourselves to others, but we don't know each other's stories. We don't know what's going on. You can be the happiest person in the world when you are at home doing your thing, not in your own head, and then you look at somebody else, and all of a sudden that joy is taken away from you, and you start comparing. So first one, comparison is the thief of joy. And the second one I truly, truly, truly love is that food can be the most powerful form of medicine or your slowest form of poison. So So you get to choose. Keep that in mind with every single meal you eat. Ask yourself, is this going to hurt me or is this going to heal me? Is this my medicine or is this my poison? And just keep that in mind every day.
Beautiful.
You have a choice.
Yes. 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 Amen to both of those. Absolutely love it. We need to hear it more. We all have a choice. So Stephanie, thank you for leaving us with those two wonderful quotes and for your knowledge and everything else. So thank you so much for being here. And to my audience, you are worth it.